coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a man arrested for attacking a 5-year-old at a local daycare. It's also front page Thursday, so we'll preview those later on with our editorial director, John Kovach. Frank Granito will join us with a look at the forecast and later on a Nutmeg Sports update. And Donald Lang will also take a look back on this day in history. But first, New Canaan police found a 56-year-old New Canaan male resident at Talmadge Hill train station Wednesday around 6 p.m. who had apparently suffered a fatal self-inflicted gunshot wound. That man was found outside his vehicle in the parking lot. Police Lieutenant Jason Ferraro reports that this was an isolated incident and there was no danger to any members of the public. Now, police and EMS responded to the scene and EMS worked on the victim. The police statement reports that police were dispatched to the area on a report of a male who might be in distress. An active investigation was underway Wednesday evening and no further information was released, but you can look for updates at ncadvertiser.com. And in other news, Shelton police arrested a Derby man for allegedly lifting one of his son's 5-year-old classmates up over his head and screaming at him for taking a Father's Day card that his son had made for him. This happened on Monday, June 16th, when police arrested 33-year-old Lance Churchill of Sunset Drive in Derby for his altercation with a 5-year-old in the Apple Tree Daycare, located on Long Hill Cross Road in Shelton. That same Monday, now the daycare was hosting a Father's Day party where all the children's fathers were invited to attend. According to police, during that party, the children made Father's Day cards and gave them to their respective fathers. Well, Detective Richard Bango of the Shelton Police said that one of the children playfully took Churchill's card that he received from his son and ran around the room with it. Police say Churchill, who is 6'4" and 270 pounds, allegedly responding by chasing the child and picking him up over his head. Bango said once Churchill put the child down, he pinned him to the ground and began to scream at him in front of all the other children. Bango said the incident was ended when daycare staff ripped the child away from Churchill and called the police. According to Bango, once police arrived, Churchill wanted the 5-year-old boy arrested. Churchill was arrested and charged with risk of injury to a minor and disorderly conduct. In other news, Darien Police Department's Marine Division responded to a vessel on fire on Long Island Sound back on June 17th. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the boat operator who indicated that there had been an explosion and fire aboard his boat. The explosion caused the operator's shirt to catch fire, at which point he jumped into the water to extinguish it. The operator suffered minor burns to his torso, face, and arms, and the boat driver was brought back aboard Darien's 127 and transported ashore to a waiting Post 53 unit for transport to the hospital. Now, Norwalk Fire Marine Division took possession of that disabled vessel. And video footage in Ridgefield from an attempted car theft outside a Hold Lane home and a 15-year-old Waterbury girl with a bullet in her back left Ridgefield police in search of evidence relating to possible charges of first-degree assault as well as reckless endangerment and risk of injury to a minor. Now, those are the laws police cited when they applied for a search warrant back on June 5th, following the events that took place earlier that morning at 28 Hold Lane. A search of the property and vehicles revealed large quantities of marijuana, steroids, pills, more than $26,000 in cash, and a collection of weapons. That according to an unsealed affidavit of the warrant. Now, no charges have yet been filed against the homeowner, who's Mauro Trapiano, and police said Wednesday that the incident is still under investigation. The affidavit states that police found the cash in a 5-gallon water bottle, and the pot was wrapped in vacuumed packaged bags. Officers also found injectable steroids and 219 unmarked yellow tablets and other pills. Police said that Trapiano had a permit to carry 3 handguns, including a Luger .40 caliber handgun. They also found several spent shell casings from that type of gun. Now, one neighbor reported to police hearing 3 gunshots, while another heard 5. The same day of that incident at 11:30 p.m., Trapiano went to the police station and provided them with video from a camera that was mounted outside his home. But the footage did not include any shots being fired, according to that search warrant. Now, there's a lot more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And in other news, Hispanic custodian Martha Ochoa is suing the New Canaan Board of Education, alleging sex, race, and physical disability discrimination, as well as harassment. Now, that civil summons obtained in the office of the town clerk was filed May 22nd and states that treatment Ochoa had received had nothing to do with her work performance, ethics, or capabilities. Ochoa started working for New Canaan schools back around November 15, 1999, according to that summons. The lawsuit complains of alleged behaviors by two employees, Robert Wilby, the then facilities manager, and Fred Word, head custodian at East School. On or about October 29, 2015, Ochoa called the Human Resource Department of the Board of Ed, according to the suit. She said she left two messages to report harassment by Mr. Wilby and Mr. Word. However, the plaintiff had not had a meeting with the Human Resources regarding those concerns to this day. Wilby has since retired. While the lawsuit seeks $15,000, saying she has suffered and will continue to suffer from extreme humiliation, mental anxiety, and emotional distress. Now, Superintendent of Schools Dr. Brian Luizzi said in a statement that the New Canaan Public Schools denies that there's any merit to the allegations made by Ms. Ochoa in the lawsuit that she has filed against the district. But there's more on that at ncadvertiser.com. And in Trumbull, ongoing repair work on the pool at Robert Beach Memorial Park will keep the pool closed through at least Monday. That, according to Parks and Recreation Director Stuart McCarthy. Now, Toshawa Pool in Trumbull is open for its normal summer hours, 11:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and 10 to 8 on weekends and holidays. Now, also the sprinkler pad at Beach Park is open. However, the problems with Beach Park Pool began last year when the town contracted with an Indianapolis-based company to replace the liner. McCarthy said the pool's size and irregular shape mandated hiring a specialized company, but it was apparent last season that the new liner work would require some more work. The company workers did not show up on time, according to McCarthy, and that combined with poor weather, and what McCarthy termed a less than responsive company management has kept that pool closed weeks past its planned opening. But there's a lot more on that story at TrumbullTimes.com. Switch gears now, throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Well, speaking of pool weather, Kate, we're going to have some of it today. Less humid out, a high of 85, and we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. A light breeze this afternoon, right around 10 miles per hour, and there'll be some increasing cloud cover starting later on this evening with humidity levels back on the climb overnight. It's going to be mild and warmer out with mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-70s heading into Friday morning. Overnight humidity will carry into tomorrow morning. Temperatures are back on the rise for the end of the week. An expected high of 91 and variable cloudiness throughout the day and into the early afternoon. Then that cloud cover starting to unfreeze Friday evening, which could bring along a late day thunderstorm. It'll be muggy and humid overnight. We're going to see on and off storms and showers. That'll continue on through Saturday morning. Those overnight showers, we'll see a couple more of them passing through Saturday morning around the county. Cloudy skies will give way for sunshine later on in the day, though. Humid conditions and a high of 88 Saturday afternoon. Things should start to cool down overnight, though. Mostly clear skies, temperatures in the low 60s before what should be a less humid and much more comfortable Sunday to wrap up the weekend. That's going to do it for this weather update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, Donald Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and there's more local news after this.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Did you know heart attacks and strokes are the leading cause of death in America? Protect the health of you and your loved ones. Talk to a doctor about heart disease. Hi, I'm Dr. David Pazer with ProHealth Physicians, encouraging you to stay informed about health matters that affect you.
ProHealth Physicians is on the pulse of social media to share information about health and nutrition with the community. Get up-to-the-minute alerts, including ProHealth Physicians news and upcoming events. Connecticut's leading group of primary care doctors is just a click away.
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time. I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office.
Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this June 22nd edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, you can almost date the beginning of the environmentalism movement to today in history. First, we're going to go to 1633. Galileo is forced to recant his view that the sun and not the earth is the center of the universe. Now, interestingly, Copernicus had first written about heliocentrism 2 centuries earlier, but it was not controversial until the 17th century. In fact, Pope Gregory had used it to reform the calendar into what we currently use today. Galileo was sentenced to house arrest, where he spent the rest of his life, and all of his works were banned, including any that he might write in the future. 1941, Nazi Germany invades the Soviet Union in what was called Operation Barbarossa. The goal was to conquer the Western Soviet Union, repopulate it with Germans, and then exploit all the area's resources and people to support more war. It was the largest invasion force in history at 4 million men. The ensuing battles saw some of the most horrific war crimes ever committed. After 5 months of fighting, the German advance stalled at Moscow, and the two sides settled into a war of attrition that the Germans had no hope of winning. Speaking of World War II, to 1944 now we go. President Franklin Roosevelt signs the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944 into law. That's commonly known as the GI Bill. The bill provided a wide range of benefits to veterans, including high school and college tuition, low-interest mortgages, and business loans. The bill had some problems, most notably that it specifically was drafted to accommodate segregation. But over the next 10 years, 9 million veterans would use the educational benefits, and the mortgage provision that favored new-built homes over existing ones essentially created suburbia as we know it. Finally, now we go to 1969. In Cleveland, Ohio, the Cuyahoga River catches fire. You're looking at the firefighting efforts there, although I'm not sure what benefit spraying water onto burning water is going to do. Though there had been at least 12 previous fires on the river, photos of this one appeared in Time magazine, which described the river as oozing rather than flowing. The publicity spurred the passage of the Clean Water Acts and the creation of the EPA. Today, 44 species of fish live in the Cuyahoga between Akron and Cleveland, up from 0 in 1968. That is your look back in history for today, June 22nd, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, several students are trying to start a high school sailing team in Milford, but they still have some obstacles to overcome. They need funding, boats, and ultimately a commitment from the Milford Board of Education. Well, Jake Burwell, who will be a senior at Foreign High School next year, has been pushing for the creation of a team, and he's still pushing despite the obstacles. Jake made a presentation to school officials several months ago, and while the school's Chief Operations Officer, James Riccitelli Jr., said he was very impressed impressed with the students and their presentation. It's just not the right time to spend the money to start a new team. Now, past practice has seen students and parents work hard to create a new team. Lacrosse, for example, spent 6 years working to become a fully funded high school sport in Milford. The first 2 years of its existence, lacrosse was a parent-supported club, with parents spending about $80,000 on that startup. But there's a lot more on that sailing story at milfordmirror.com. Let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And we will start with earlier this week, the FCIAC handed out their annual Rosemarie Carlucci Scholarship Awards. Your two winners this year were Maddie Santora of Stanford High and Jessica Clark of Bridgeport Central. That's Maddie on the left and Jessica on the right. Maddie has kept busy as an integral member of the Stanford Black Knights varsity softball and field hockey teams throughout her high school career, serving as a captain for both. Her coaches describe her as a natural athlete, ready to do anything to help out her team, and a natural leader. She earned 2 All-FCIAC awards this season. And ask anyone about Jessica Clark, and invariably you will hear her strong leadership skills and her go-getter mentality. A student at Bridgeport Central, Clark was a 3-sport athlete participating in softball, basketball, and track and field. She served as a captain for the latter of the two. So congratulations to both those girls. And a quick update on the 115th Connecticut Amateur Golf Championship. Our last 2 FCIAC competitors have been eliminated. Poor Max Theodorakis, despite shooting 7 under over his 29 holes yesterday, lost to, Christopher DeLucci 3-2 in the round of 16. Justin Clark fell earlier today to Richard Dowling 5-3 in the quarterfinals. We're going to have more on that as well as plenty more on local sports coming up this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. That's going to do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update. Let's do it back. Send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, in some breaking Trumbull news, a Stratford man has been charged with felony kidnapping and other crimes after an alleged domestic violence incident in Trumbull. 24-year-old David Gonzalez of Success Avenue was arrested yesterday on a warrant for numerous domestic violence charges stemming from an incident that happened on June 11th with his ex-girlfriend. Now, the 21-year-old victim told police that her car had broken down on Quarry Road in Trumbull, and she called Gonzalez to help her. But when he arrived, he allegedly became angry after seeing evidence on her phone of conversations with another man. Gonzalez reportedly took the woman's keys and phone. The victim said she entered Gonzalez's car to attempt to retrieve them, but he began to punch her and began driving away with her in the car. Gonzalez prevented the victim from escaping while he drove to downtown Bridgeport. The victim told police that during this time she was in the car with him, Gonzalez allegedly punched her many times in the face and body, struck her on the ankle with a wrench to prevent her from running away, and wrapped an electrical cord around her neck and strangled her until she was struck and clawed at his face to make him stop. Gonzalez eventually pushed the victim out of his car near Golden Hill Street in Bridgeport, and police said the victim's injuries were consistent with her statement. There's a lot more on that story right now at TrumbullTimes.com. And in other news, in Monroe, 100 Japanese lady beetles were released in Webb Mountain Park on June 16th as part of a biological control to combat the woolly adelgid that has decimated the hemlock stands of Connecticut and other eastern states as well as Canada. Monroe's Park Ranger David Solek and Dr. Carol Chia, a research entomologist at the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station, conducted that release. Now, in July 2016, Chia and Solek released 100 beetles in the same park to protect the hemlock trees. Environmentalists like Chia report they have proven to be ecologically friendly and economical as a long-term control against the threat to the hemlock watersheds and habitat. She also reported there's been a measurable recovery of the hemlock trees following that earlier release in the state, a development intensified recently by severe winters. More on that at MonroeCourier.com. And in other news, one by one, members of Stratford's Hindu community dropped flower petals, essential grains, and precious stones into a foundation pit where construction is to commence for a new Hindu cultural center temple at 96 Chapel Street. The Bhumi Puja, a groundbreaking ceremony, was a 3-day event that concluded on June 17th. Now, the first phase of that project, the construction of the new cultural center building, will cost an estimated $1.2 million to $1.5 million, raised through donations donations and will take approximately 1.5 to 2 years to complete. Now, Hindu Cultural President Renju Vij anticipates that second and third phases will follow and include upgrades to the existing building on the grounds. There are about 400 members of the Cultural Center, and growth in the community and membership has led to the need for more space. More on that story at StraffordStar.com. But we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to preview this week's front pages after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through June 30th.
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napoletana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com and like us on Facebook.
Family and Children's Aid has been serving the community since 1809 and is now the largest outpatient children's mental health care provider in Western Connecticut. Our innovative services include providing shelter to homeless moms and children, substance abuse intervention, mental health counseling, and foster and adoptive services, among others. Our goal is to provide individuals and families a safe haven and hope for a brighter future. Find out more about us at fcaweb.org and call our Danbury campus at 203-748-5689. A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
At In Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The In Sports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, joined by our editorial director, John Kovach, to preview our front pages, which are out on newsstands today. John, what are you looking at first?
Graduations. Lots and lots of graduations, and congratulations from us to the class of 2017. Among the places they graduated, Weston, where they took the next step toward adulthood. Democrats endorsed a slate for selectman and board of selectmen candidate for the fall election. Farmers Market starting up at LaChotte Farms. The return of the library director who took a job in Newtown, went there, and then just something opened up in Weston. She felt the call to go back. And Weston Arts honoring the actor James Naughton.
All right, well, taking a look at the Ridgefield Press, of course, graduation at Ridgefield High is actually tomorrow, so a preview story on that. Also, the Masons in Ridgefield, actually in the red now because of a Battle of Ridgefield reenactment that they hosted. I guess they have some bills to pay off, so more on that. And a story we've been talking about all week, and that's that shooting in Ridgefield and a search of the home yielding pot, pills, and guns. A lot more details on that story in the Ridgefield Press. Also talking about some more village parking in Ridgefield. The town is working on it. John, what are you looking at now?
The Reading Pilot has coverage of graduation for the class of 2017 at Joel Barlow High School. A research sought by the town into options on the old wire mill in Georgetown, an increase in the number of pistol permits held by people in Reading. A new book by Lenny Grimaldi, well known in Bridgeport for his involvement in politics there. He's a Reading resident and has written 40 years of Connecticut characters. And the Ross Ramble, dedicated to a couple that really pushed conservation in the town of Reading.
All right, well, I'm taking a look at the Darien Times and more graduation. We have some great photos by Brian Hafley and coverage of the graduation ceremony by Dan Arestia. Now, also interesting story in Darien, the Board of Ed chairman not endorsed for re-election by the RTC. And selectmen looking for local solutions to the state budget crisis looming. Also, a family thanking the community with the graduation bash.
Wilton is another of the communities in which graduation is still upcoming. That will be on Saturday, the 24th. That's at 5 p.m. Wilton is the 9th highest payer in taxes, income taxes, in Fairfield County. There's a look at gardens, historic gardens at Weir Farm. The Levin family makes sure some land on their property will forever remain undeveloped. And the 50th anniversary of the Lieutenant John G. Corr Award goes to a male athlete at Wilton High School. It is named for a Wilton High alum who was killed during the Vietnam War.
All right, taking a look at the New Canaan Advertiser, just a beautiful photo by Dave Stewart of the graduation ceremony this week. And students reminded there to be kind. So coverage of the graduation. And New Canaan real estate high-end market is shifting, and Republicans to host debates before caucus.
A political battleground right now in Stratford, where the council did not vote on a budget at its meeting on Monday night. Mayor John Harkins vetoed the prior two that were passed by the council. So much like the state of Connecticut, they will proceed under the existing spending plan. The classes of Bunnell High and Stratford High both graduate. They do that the same time, the same day. Makes it a bit difficult to be at both, if not impossible. But we have coverage from both Bunnell and Stratford High, and groundbreaking held for a new Hindu cultural center that in Stratford.
All right, well, taking a look at the Easton Courier, schools touting benefits to area realtors. Also, officials addressing standing water at the dog park. Joel Barlow High School graduates of 2017, and some rural residents wondering about new markers. They just don't think that they're necessary on some of those windy roads.
That's an interesting story. I read that earlier this week, and they just the state decided they had to mark these curves, and these people just started to see these arrows pop up on there.
But if you're not from there, those arrows could be very helpful if you've driven in that area at night. It is quite dark.
Exactly. I could have used those arrows
Locals
once or
might
twice.
not need them, yes.
I can use them, trust me. In Milford, we have a bear sighting and some photos taken by Open Space Manager Steve Johnson, along with safety tips for what to do if you encounter a bear. And the class of 2017 at Jonathan Law High School and at Foreign High School both graduate that in Milford.
All right, taking a look at the Monroe Courier, some great coverage of the annual Strawberry Festival. The weather wasn't great, but the festival went along. We have some cute goats there, some strawberries, of course, and a former resident's new book talking about 40 years of Connecticut characters. We also have a story we talked about earlier, and that's rangers releasing beetles to protect the trees at Webb Mountain, and Stepney students place in national competition. Congratulations to them.
Shelton High graduation atop the front page of the Shelton Herald, along with horrible news about the death of an Ansonia man in a crash out on Leavenworth Road. A continuing discussion with neighbors of a waste rubber dump, and a 2-hour standoff that led to the arrest of a bank robbery suspect.
All right, taking a look at the Trumbull Times. Trumbull High School's class of 2017, some photos and coverage of that ceremony, and some exciting news for us here at the HAN Network, just continuing to expand our audience, kind of talking about all that's happened in the last year, which is exciting. And inside the Trumbull Times, you have the Trumbull Answer Book, such a great and handy little tool to have answering a lot of your questions about what's happening in Trumbull. So definitely check out your Trumbull Answer Book in the Trumbull Times this week. There it is. Beautiful picture by Audra. Yeah, so just gorgeous.
That is a beautiful tree when that is
Yes.
in full color. And in our arts and leisure section, hey guys, they've got radishes, the conscious cook with the ravishing radish, and WPKN, where I got my start behind the microphone.
Look at that.
They are doing some crowdfunding for a new transmitter that the public radio station based at the University of Bridgeport.
All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping things up here on Coffee Break, but coming up at 1 o'clock today, we have Yankee Fisherman. John, what's going to be on Yankee today?
I was up in New London over the weekend. We visited Diane's Bait and Tackle and Burr's Marina. The Fancy Fluke Women's Fluke Tournament, the first one ever, will be this weekend at Diane's. And it was great to spend some time with a shop owner whose store right there on the water is kind of a hub of the community.
And of course, 2 o'clock Nutmeg Sports. We will see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11. Have a great day.